Knowing technology, understanding technology, being familiar with that is something which will be required. So out of the top 10 skills, the World Economic Forum says 2 of the skills are related to the technology. The other 5 are problem solving skills, business development skills. Out of the 10, the 50% of them are about solving business problems. And there, we don't have to compete with AI. We actually have to have ally with AI. We have to have friendship with AI, because AI will help us in solving these 5 problems. So let's not be afraid of when people say AI is coming and all our jobs will go away. Yeah, it's only the nature of job which will change. Very quickly, for some of the youngsters who are sitting in the room, possibly some of you still studying in the college, or some of the academia who actually teach the students. For them, please go to the next slide. 2 very quick slides. One is how the world of work in general has changed even without AI. How the jobs in the industry have changed. If you can read this slide, this is how the careers were built when people like me entered after my engineering and then MBA and then PhD into the world of work. It was very simple, very easy. Earn a degree, search for a job, work hard for many years, of course, and someday you will get a good paying career. So that was simple. Unfortunately, it's not that simple now. Please go to the next slide. It has changed. Now it has multiple steps how the careers are built now. Now, earning a degree is no guarantee that you will get a job. In fact, much before you are awarded a degree, you need to learn so many things. First, you need to find out what you like doing. Liking is important. You also need to find out what are your strengths. You also need to find out how is your personality. Are you an introvert or an extrovert? And based on that, you should choose your career, your occupation, your job role. When you are doing degree also, just the curriculum of NEP 2020 or UGC, following that is not enough. We have to learn many other skills. We have to learn the workplace behaviors, because the world of work is changing. It is very normal for someone sitting now in Bangalore, having a boss in Europe, and the Europe person's boss is possibly sitting in America, and American's boss is sitting in China, and Chinese boss is again sitting in Bangalore or Hyderabad, perhaps in India only. It's very normal. So we need to learn how to work in the different culture, the international cultures. So these are some of the skills we have to learn. So coming to after the degree, you have to, of course, work in alignment with the value system of the company for a long time. You have to continuously keep learning, because as we have earlier discussed, the learning is not one time. It was not like person like me. You do your degree once and then most of the time it will serve you for the rest of your life. It is not going to do that. Every 3 year, 5 year, the nature of jobs are going to change, the roles are going to change, and you have to build the new skills, you have to learn the new skills. So there is a change in how the careers are being built. I will request to all the colleagues sitting in the audience who are dealing with the youngsters, please make them aware of this, that don't simply depend or rely on the degree which you are going to get, but you have to learn the other skills also. I think the time is more or less over. Perhaps I would have already exceeded. So the 3 key messages. The first one is, be the thinker, not just the doer. The second is, create what AI will not be able to imagine. Think and try and remain ahead of the algorithms. It is possible. And the third is, learn to partner with AI. Let's not fight with AI. Let us not hate AI. Let us use them for our benefit, so that we as humans can become more productive. I think these are the few things I wanted to share with you. Sorry if I have exceeded my time what was allocated to me, but it has been a pleasure talking to you on this topic. If we get to talk on another topic later, particularly on the collaboration for skill development, that's another area of my passion, my interest. Possibly we will share some more thoughts on that also. Thank you very much for patience.
Thank you, Dr. Goyal, for sharing your valuable insights on how we can prepare for the future of work in a rapidly evolving world. It is now my honor to invite Dr. V.M. Thomas, the President of FVTRS, a guiding force in advancing transformative skills, for an inclusive and sustainable future to deliver the presidential address. I hereby welcome V.M. Thomas sir to please come on the stage. Yes, give a huge round of applause, everybody together.
Dr. G.V. Rao, Dr. Goyal, Dr. Purushottam, esteemed dignitaries on the stage, and my dear friends. I'm extremely happy, privileged, and honored to speak to all of you on the occasion of this 17th National Skill Conference, which we are holding at a very crucial moment in the skilling landscape, where we experience economic, technological, and demographic changes. I think the stage is set for us because Dr. Goyal just now has spoken to us about the speed of change, everything that is changing at an accelerating speed. And if we keep doing what we are doing, we'll keep getting what we are getting. And we will remain obsolete, redundant, and become dinosaurs. Madness is doing the same things and expecting different results. Let me repeat. I hope you're awake after the coffee. Madness is doing the same things and expecting different results. How many of us are mad? Would you raise your hands? I see 2-3 hands. Yes, I only see a few hands. Mr. Felix, I would advise you, after this conference, take the rest to the demands for a check. I think they will need some shock. Future shock. I hope you remember a book called Future Shock by Alvin Toffler, which was referred to by Dr. Rao in a different way. He said, in a way referring to what Alvin Toffler said, the illiterates of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot unlearn, learn, and relearn. I repeat, illiterates of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot unlearn, learn, and relearn. And that has been the invitation of all our speakers. Continuous learning, if you want to remain, as very beautifully presented by Dr. Goyal, become future-proof. Future-proof yourself. If you want the organizations to remain future-proof, that is the secret. Bill Gates once said, life is like a treadmill. How many of you have been on a treadmill, by the way? I know some of you do for exercise. Good. On this side, nobody on a treadmill. Good for your heart. But you know what happens when you're on a treadmill? As the belt moves faster and faster, what do? You keep moving faster and faster. And maybe in the 6th minute, when it moves really fast, if you don't run, you're out. That's why he says, life is like a treadmill. You have to keep running to stay in the same place. Dear friends, remember that. You are on treadmill, we know this. Gyms are becoming very popular. Remember, keep running to stay in the same place. That's why I'm so very happy that FVTRS has been doing this work. Now researching, finding new ways of responding to the changing needs of the times. And we know very well opportunities are abounding. But challenges are becoming bigger and bigger for the millions of youth, especially the dropout youth. We are so happy to hear about Bosch, which has reached out to thousands of these dropout youth, including those from which we are taking care of from FVTRS. Terrific ideas that have been presented to us. I congratulate FVTRS. I did it yesterday, but I would like once again say congratulate the team for the excellent work they do of training over 7,000 young people in 13 states across the country in 50, 60 locations, involving over 400 instructors and other team staff. You are doing something extraordinarily beautiful because you are moving our young people from vulnerability to dignity, from exclusion to participation, giving dignity through work and hope through opportunities, and equipping them for today's jobs and also tomorrow's opportunities. I won't be long. I'd just like to refer to an experiment that was conducted by a Harvard professor many years ago, Kurt Lichter, on a bunch of rats. He took a bunch of rats and put them into a bucket to see how long they would survive. Can you guess how long they survived? Bunch of rats in a bucket full of water. How long? What is your guess? Not any American rats, just ordinary rats. 5 minutes? I was silent. I hope you're awake. Okay. Anyway, it was less than 15 minutes. And so what he did was something very interesting. He took out these rats, he dried them, he showed a lot of love and affection, fed them with cheese, fish, meat, and put them to rest for about 3 hours. And after 3 hours, he put the same bunch of rats into the same bucket of water. Think, how long did they survive now? How long did they stay in the water? I hope the description of the experiment is clear. The same rats, he took out, dried them, gave affection, fondled them, gave them cheese, fish, meat, put them to rest for 3 hours, and then put them into the same bucket of water. How long? Some are Googling already. It is there in the Google. Just take, please, I want just get a quick response. How long did they survive? 5. Sorry. 1 hour. Pretty good. Not yet. Anybody else? 2 more guesses. Are you ready for a shock? Hold on, hold tight. 30 hours and longer. Those same rats swam for over 30 hours. Why? One word. One word or 2 words if you want to use. Both the words with the 4 letters. Good. You are getting, but the right one, you are getting close, but the first word, most important word. Love is correct. Okay. But, sorry? Hope. That's it. Hope. In fact, this experiment is also called Hope Experiment. Rat Experiment and Hope Experiment of Harvard University. Dear friends, you know why they swam for so many long hours, because they knew that man would rescue them. And they experienced the love. Dear friends of FVTRS and all of us gathered here, you are giving hope, you are giving love. Be missionaries of hope to these young boys and girls who are struggling and who are maybe deprived of that hope. You are giving them hope, build their dreams, shape their lives, give them a better future. Thank you very much.
Check. Thank you, Dr. V.M. Thomas, for being the guiding force. Give a huge round of applause, everybody, together. With that, moving to the award segment, we now request Dr. Goyal and Mr. G.V. Rao to please give away the awards. Give a huge round of applause for them. The award goes to, the award of excellence goes to Saranya and Meena. Give a huge round of applause for both of them together. Mrs. Saranya, a mother of 3 from Vellore, migrated to Bangalore along. Mrs. Meena migrated to Bangalore from Tamil Nadu with her family in search of better opportunities and now resides in Ramurthy Nagar. Previously employed in a textile showroom, her limited English communication skills hindered her growth. But a year ago, she joined basic computer course with employability skills and digital marketing. Through consistent effort and support, Meena overcame her communication challenges, gained confidence, and improved her soft skills. Give a huge round of applause for both of them together. And also with this, upon completing her courses, she was placed as a front desk executive at Trends, earning 18,000 per month, a proud mother of twin children. In 5th standard, Meena now balances work and family life with ease, standing as an inspiring example of how skill development empowers women to achieve financial independence and self-respect. Here's congratulating Mrs. Saranya and Mrs. Meena once again for being the life champion. Thank you to both the guests. As we approach the conclusion of the formal sessions, I now invite Mr. Jimmy Matthew, Senior Manager at FVTRS, to deliver the vote of thanks. Give a huge round of applause as we welcome him on the stage.
Respected dignitaries of the dais and on the dais, I have taken note of entire speech made by the inaugural members on the stage, but due to time constraint, I want to make one umbrella thanks. Dr. G.V. Rao, Dr. O.P. Goyal, Father V.M. Thomas and Purushottam had put a lot of insights, I think thought for the day. We can carry, there are many things we can carry when you go back to home. Thank you so much, sirs, for giving us such an inspirational and thoughtful speech. Thank you so much. Please. Now I request our team members to, I request Naveen to come to the stage and give away a token of memento to Mr. Dr. G.V. Rao. Naveen, please. May I request Father V.M. Thomas to give a memento to Ms. Vaijanti Chavgala. She is an award-winning development worker. She got an award from the Indian President of India when Abdul Kalam was in charge. She got an award from Abdul Kalam. Thank you so much, madam. I also request Father B.M. Thomas to remain there and give away the memento to Dr. O.P. Goyal, please. May I request Mr. Felix D'Souza to give the memento to Dr. Purushottam Gaut. May I also request Felix to give the memento to Dr. Niladri for his contribution for this research development. I want to especially welcome Dr. Binu and Shibu from the St. Francis D. Scale College. We are thankful and thanks a lot for coming here and participating. We welcome you to this conference. With this, I stop here because the panelists are waiting here for the next panel. I don't want to waste the time because there are a lot of to be things done. Thank you so much.
Once again, thank you, Mr. Mamathu, for those heartfelt words. We hereby thank all the dignitaries for joining us and supporting for the 17th National Skill Conference. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we now move to track 1 of the conference, Adapting to AI and Emerging Technologies, Shaping the Workforce for Tomorrow. This session will explore how advancements in AI and new technologies are transforming the skill requirements and workforce landscape for the future. To facilitate this important discussion, we have with us an experienced and dynamic moderator, Mr. Naveen Jacob Mathav, Chief of Staff at Lexship and former VP and Global Head of CSR and Sustainability at Sonata Software. We need the chairs. We need the chairs for the panel discussion. The moderator, we have Mr. Naveen Jacob Mathav, Chief of Staff at Logilink India, PhD scholar at NIT Trichy and visiting professor at Christu Jayanti College, an accomplished leader in sustainability, ESG and responsible business transformation. He previously served as Global Head of Sustainability and CSR and Procurement at Sonata Software, earning national and international recognition for innovative sustainability practices. Passionate about bridging theory and practice, Mr. Naveen continues to inspire through his work in ESG and procurement and sustainable leadership. Let's welcome our moderator, Mr. Naveen Jacob Mathav, on the stage. Can we give a huge round of applause as we welcome him on the stage? Up next, we also have Ms. Dolly Varghese, Capacity Lead at Industry Foundation, responsible for curriculum design, training delivery, and skill development across all value chains, an alumna of JNU with over 20 years of experience. She specializes in communication and behavioral skills, curriculum development, program management, and enterprise development. As a seasoned learning and development professional, she has driven organizational growth and enhanced the agency of women producers on the ground. Let's welcome her with a huge round of applause, everybody together. We welcome Mr. Satish M., a dynamic leader and lifelong learner with over 15 years of experience in the skilling and education industry, currently leading customer success for talent development initiatives at NASSCOM. He has held diverse roles in business development, marketing, operations, planning, and branding. Passionate about building high-performance teams, fostering inclusive work environments, and driving industry, academia, government collaboration. Let's welcome him with a huge round of applause, everybody together. We welcome Ms. Swastika Mukherjee, Head of Strategy, Sustainability, Communication, and Marketing at Kenametal India, with over 16 years of experience in strategy, sustainability, corporate communication, and marketing. She's previously led transformative roles at Thermax Limited, Cummins India, Sadwick Asia, Honeywell, and Tata Group affiliates. Give a huge round of applause as we welcome her on the stage. We hereby welcome Captain Kaustav Nath, founding partner of Mindphonics Advisory Services LLP, dedicated to empowering underprivileged and marginalized communities through education, skill development, and women's employment. A veteran pilot and aviation industry expert, he has played a pivotal role in implementing skill initiative across Karnataka, Goa, Tripura, including the Kaushalya Karnataka program and PMKVY. Under his guidance, Team Karnataka won 47 medals at the 2024 India Skills Competition and will represent India at World Skills 2025 in Lyon, France. Captain Kaustav has also pioneered skill building projects for the transgender and differently abled communities. Give him a huge round of applause as we welcome him on the stage. We also welcome Mr. Jose Jacob, founder and CEO of Integro Infotech and Consulting, a boutique consultancy connecting European companies to strategic opportunities in India across sectors like engineering, infrastructure, automotive, sustainable business, healthcare, education, and IT. He serves as senior advisor to Bay End, founder and curator of the India Advantage Summit and the Future ICT Forum, both global platforms for sustainable cities and smart technology. Give him a huge round of applause once again, ladies and gentlemen. Over to Mr. Naveen Jacob Matthew.
Good morning, everyone. I think we had a fire-packed inauguration ceremony which had a lot of insights that have already been shared on AI from some learned people in the industry. So I think all of us are already in on the topic, but it's an absolute pleasure to welcome you all to today's panel discussion on a topic that's not just timely, but pivotal to our collective futures. Adapting to AI and emerging technologies, shaping the workforce for tomorrow. We are all living through what many call the fourth industrial revolution, a time when artificial intelligence, automation, blockchain, Internet of Things, and other breakthrough technologies are fundamentally reshaping the way the world is going forward, the way industries are changing, and the way businesses, models, and careers are changing in the current scenario. The question before us is no longer if these changes will come, but how we prepare for them. The change has already come. So the most important thing for all of us is how do we prepare ourselves to encounter these changes? How do organizations reskill and upskill their workforce to remain competitive? What kind of jobs will disappear and what new opportunities lie before us that we can grab? How do we balance technology advancement with human adaptability and inclusivity? Today's conversation is not about fearing change, as Dr. Goel mentioned. It's about embracing transformation with foresight and collaboration. I think foresight and collaboration is going to be the key to get ourselves out of the fear of the new technologies that are coming in. As Dr. Goel mentioned, jobs will take a hit, but there are new jobs that are actually knocking our doors. Our panel today brings together a diverse set of voices, thought leaders, innovators, industry experts, and strategists, each with unique perspectives on how AI and emerging technologies will mold the workplace, influence talent, strategies, and create new economic frontiers. Here's what we'll aim to uncover in the next 60 minutes. What skills will define the future workforce? How organizations can align AI adoption with human potential and the ethical and societal considerations in the coming transformations. Practical frameworks for reskilling and change management. So these will be the four fundamental topics that we'll be covering, and I have an able panel with me that will dwell on most of these topics. And the way we go about is we will have discussions on various topics through the panel, and we'll have a Q&A session of around 10 minutes before we end the session. So we start the session with the questions. So with further ado, let's dive in, and I'd like to begin my questions by inviting Dr. Jose to talk about how is AI reshaping traditional job roles across organizations, and what are the most promising emerging technologies for workforce transformation?
Thank you for the question, and Great to be here at the FVTRS 17th National Skill Conference. It's not easy to have such a long track record of continuing to do what is right. Luckily we had the first inaugural session where a lot of interesting things were said. So I'm going to say something a little different and bring in a new perspective. Now all of us know a coffee machine, right? Coffee machine is a machine that makes coffee. I think some of you got that coffee while you were at your chair. So that was a smart, strategic thinking by the organizers to save time and get you coffee on the table. Now the machine would make coffee. There is a set of instruction and there are different options. So there is instruction and production. And then there was a strategic decision somebody in the organizing teams took to save time to bring the coffee in. So these three things you kind of saw this morning happening here. So the thing with AI is it has reached an agentic nature. And by agentic, I mean agency. And by agency, I mean intention. Now the coffee machine, if it's programmed to make just 5 types of coffee, cannot of itself make a 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th type of coffee. Or for example, it will not say, today is a cold day, let's make rasam on its own and make that rasam. Now, a machine and a program, and generally in organization, a set of instructions and a set of outcomes is what every employee, every organizational system wants to achieve. Now, with AI, the agency to change and make a better system is possible. So what do I mean by that? Just like the coffee machine cannot of itself make rasam, the same logic cannot be applied with AI. Therefore, we are at a fundamental disruption. What will happen next is not what has been happening in the past. Now, for this, all the interpretations that we are getting, all the analysis that we are getting about AI is from business leaders, right? Who is investing money in AI? It's the business leaders. The problem with business leaders is for them, their time horizon is between 2 to 5 years. Every business leader, if it's a public listed company, he has the pressure every quarter to declare his profit, to say how much dividend he can give to his shareholders. So their window of view is very less. If we go back to 1885, when the first railroad link happened between Manchester and one city in UK, for 5 years nothing happened. There was the train, it was connecting these two cities. Of course, things were moving faster. Nothing happened for 5 years. And that time, if there was a conference, do you think railways will change the world? All the people would have said, it's not a big deal, it's just moving some people from here to there. But when you look at it from a historian's perspective who has a long view, and a historian will not look at 2 years or 5 years, will look at 30 or 40 years or 50 years. So we are unfortunately asking the question to the wrong set of people. We have to ask the philosophers and the historians, what will happen when agency initiative is taken out from the human domain and moved to the domain of technology. So for example, we all know about the nuclear bomb, right? So this is from historian Yuval, who said the nuclear bomb is made by humans. It's a very strong bomb, but that technology cannot, or the nuclear bomb software and system cannot create the next bomb on its own. But with AI, when you have defense and offense systems, the decisions are made by AI, and AI can create the next generation of solution. So it's an opportunity and a threat, and for organizations, they have to fundamentally rewrite how they realign and align their workflows. So for example, in the first panel, we talked that anything repetitive will be moved to the domain of AI. And interestingly, if you analyze most of the job even each of you do, 80% of that is repetitive. So what will happen? There will be disruption, there will be opportunity, but it's really important for all of us, and as we go forward in the panel, to unpack and unlearn how do we prepare and what can we do as different members of society and also people part of society to make change in such a way that for society overall it can be a win-win. Thank you.
Thanks, Jose. Briefly, can you tell us what are the skills that you see that are going to transform for the next 5 to 10 years?
Yeah, so I think there were those wonderful skills highlighted by Dr. Goel, so that was good. So he did most of the work. Yeah. But I would say the world of tomorrow will need generalists. Now, I know this is completely contrarian to the capitalist model. The capitalist model moved from generalist to specialist, right? We said this is a story in The Wealth of Nations, which is the book on which capitalism is based. There was this guy, Samuel Cole, who had a gun making factory. This is very, very old story in the 1800s. So he had 10 employees and they were making 10 guns a day. Each employee was making 1 gun, right? Now, this each employee, if his gun worked properly, then he gets that day's salary. That's how originally it was. Then somehow he read this concept about specialization. And interestingly, there is a biblical concept to that. It's in the book of Jacob. When he was about to die, he had 12 sons. He gave each son a different instruction, not the same to all. So if you go and read, you'll find it. So I think the guy who wrote the book about capitalism understood that, and he took that principle and wrote about specialization. So when Samuel Cole put this in his factory and said, one guy will make the barrel, one guy will make the trigger, and everybody specialized, and the last guy will assemble the gun together. From 10 guns a day, his production went to 120 guns a day because of specialization. Now, what is happening, unfortunately, is making that barrel is a repetitive task. Right? He makes the same 120 barrels the whole day. Now, with technology and AI coming and repetitive tasks getting outsourced to technology or to machines plus technology or to systems plus machines plus technology, what will the human in the loop do? So the question is, there will be need for more generalist, people to people communication, collaboration, and lastly, from the education and skilling point of view, every organization that has or that is training young people has to have more industry interaction. So if a degree is for 3 years, 1.5 years will be multiple internships with different companies, and those colleges that understand this and move the needle today, they will win in 10 years. And the others that think that it's a one-way communication, I think they will be on the wrong track, because even as we speak, companies are redefining workflows and understanding which part AI can do, which part humans can do, which part they can do together. And while this understanding is happening, students of the next generation have to learn to work with AI. Like the conclusion from the previous panel, AI has to be a partner. And just like in a marriage, if you ask any couple, over time the relationship grows stronger. So it's good that young people start the relationship with AI earlier, so that when they are coming out and looking for a job, they have a much better chance to succeed. And one more thing I want to say, because you know, when we look at production lines and factories today, it's very interesting. If you go to any of the factories in Electronic City that actually produce something, so there is a factory that make diapers, you know, one of the most fast selling products, because a lot of children in India, I have also my daughter, and it's used a lot, so you know, we know that it's produced a lot. The machine is so fast you can't even see how it's getting produced. They produce about 7 in a second or something like that. It's done by Nordson, which is an engineering company from Germany. Now, if you go to the guy who manufactures this diapers, he has multiple machines. So one machine is from Japan, one machine is from Germany, one machine is from South Korea, and each machine has a different software, and there are these people which are called shop floor guys that go to each machine, see the productivity of each machine and update reports in Excel. Now, unfortunately, because it was different software, Korean software, German software, Japanese software, you needed a human being to link those systems. With AI, and if with agentic AI, it's easily possible that the agentic AI will ingest each library file of each machine, understand end-to-end how it works, And it will make those machines interoperable, which means you just need to link everything to an ERP, and you can just, while sitting in the beach in Brazil and your factory is in Electronic City, you can ask your AI assistant, what is the production schedule for this morning, how much has been produced, how much will be produced, and this agentic AI can talk to each machine because it's connected to the network and can give you exactly the projected production for that day by 6 p.m. in the evening in India, while you are in the beach in Brazil or wherever in the world. So there is opportunity, but there is also tremendous risk and disruption, and everybody has to prepare for that. And it's always like this, it's the prepared mind that will win, and it's the unprepared that will not win. This is the fundamental truth. So I think it's important to be prepared. Thank you.
Thank you, Jose. Satish, since you have been working in NASSCOM and a lot of training and skill development programs are there, according to you, what should be the changes that the education systems and training programs be doing differently today to prepare workers for AI-driven roles?
Well, thanks for that, Naveen, and congratulations, first of all, for you and the entire FVTRS team for hosting this. This is a very focused group that you're trying to bring in insights, and I'm really looking forward to the questions as well, which will come up post the session. A lot of insights shared from the earlier introductory session that conducted here, and I hope people take back a lot of this and start implementing it. Right, so bottom line, if I have to put it this way, change is evident. There is something or the other. While we speak, there's probably a new technology which is already, re-emerged or which is being created for the first time. In fact, just a simple example of a smartwatch to even the mobile phones that we use today, a simple gadget that we carry has so many applications as part of it, which is all talking to each other. Right now, you don't have to interfere. Like, we had Joe's mentioning of, human in the loop. It is very much relevant and evident even today, right? There is, a misconception, I would put it this way, saying, AI will take away jobs, right from the phase where computers were invented, or the Y2K problem that came up. Everything was in the path of thinking downwards. But then if you actually look at it, it's an opportunity to scale, which everybody will put forward efforts, I'm sure about it, and evolve. So in terms of technology disruptions, in terms of the growth that we see on today, it is a positive aspect. AI is here to stay in one form or the other. AI is not just one technology, but is interconnected technologies, I would like to put it, because AI doesn't work standalone. Like how the entire event here is organized by FVTRS, you will see a lot of stakeholders, right? So call each of them as technology players, right? You can call functions of different industries at large. You're looking at flow where, some of the concepts mentioned earlier, you are simplifying some of the processes. You're making more room for yourself. How do you utilize any tool for that matter, right? You must be hearing a lot about ChatGPT and Copilot and all the tools which is part of this. Is it actually killing creativity? Is one concept which is already evolved. But if you look at it on the other front, it is actually trying to say, use that as a baseline, try to improvise. Don't completely depend on it, on a ChatGPT tool, for example. Nothing against it, but I'm just calling out as a quote. But you can use that as a baseline, but you can always add on top of it, bring in your flavor and try to make that change. Whether it is on a shop floor or whether it is in an office environment, all of these will play a role in everybody's life. Somebody who's in a carpentry role, somebody who's at a shop floor. Similarly, I would put it as somebody who's at a leadership level. Being from NASSCOM, we are also getting a lot of inputs. We are working with a lot of factors. In fact, the entire NASSCOM ecosystem involves three main stakeholders: industry, government, and the academia. All of them contribute in one form or the other in terms of adapting as well as creating.
Thanks, Satish. Jolly, the question to you. Being in the capacity building segment, how do we ensure AI adoption doesn't widen the digital divide? And what role does responsible AI play in workforce planning?
Thanks, Naveen. I am very honored to be representing my organization, Industry Foundation, here. And we work in the rural sector. We create livelihood opportunities, especially for women farmers and women producers. So my pet interest would definitely be ethics, equity, and inclusion, and where we can look at how this cannot be. See, when we talk about AI, the conversations usually start in rooms like this or tech hubs. So the real test lies whether it reaches our fields and our informal work sector and also the rural classrooms of India. That is the real test of AI, I feel. Now, how is this possible? When digital literacy has to be embedded at all levels, at grassroots levels, and that is how we can ensure that AI will also follow. So this digital divide, if starting with our rural areas, poor connectivity is there, and patchy access to devices. So once that is not addressed, then AI cannot be inclusive. It will only deepen the divide. That is one aspect. And another is, as long as our AI tools and systems do not incorporate the local languages and also bring in interfaces which are catering to low literacy level communities and like voice-based interfaces, if that is not incorporated, then AI can never be inclusive. The digital divide will only deepen. So we have to fix our basic infrastructure. There should be parity, and only then can we have access that everybody can access. Now, we also need to look at deliberate outreach and safe learning spaces, especially for women in this emerging tech skilling era, so that we don't deepen the already existing gender gap. To close those gender gaps, we need to address deliberate outreach programs while tech skilling is happening. So these are the few ways in which we can incorporate tech, and so that the digital divide does not increase. The second portion was
what role does responsible AI play in workforce planning?
Responsible AI. Now that is, it has to be actually like a moral compass. And it should be bias free. There should be transparency. Transparency is non-negotiable. So when you're planning the workforce, be it hiring, be it training, be it performance assessment, it has to be transparent. So the workforce need to know what are the factors that are being evaluated using the AI tools, and how much weightage is given to these factors in the decision making. So transparency is non-negotiable, and we also need responsible AI is when we can make it accessible to everybody, and the workforce is knows what is happening. Without it, just introducing the technology, and then that is going to be a threat. Thanks.
Thanks, Jolly. Swastika has been in the corporate sector, so a question towards leadership, okay? And how should leaders adapt their mindset and strategies, and how do you create a workplace culture that embraces AI rather than resisting AI?
Thank you. First of all, I'd like to thank the organizers for the opportunity to be a part of this panel. I think the first session was really great and some very interesting insights on how the world is shifting towards AI. Coming to the question on leadership, so I'd like to share, without taking names, examples of companies who've progressed and some examples from my current organization. And I'd love to answer your questions, if any. So the first thing I feel that leaders need to do is to see the change coming, to preempt the change, rather than waiting for the impact on their organization. So when I started my career about 19 years ago, there were global brands which were known as world leaders at that point. And today, to the young generations, we have to say once upon a time, there was this company who was a world leader, because they somehow didn't adapt to the change. Whereas there were companies at that point who were known for a specific product or a specific solution, but today they are heavily into sustainability solutions. They are into digital solutions that are helping customers take informed decisions, to churn a lot of data and take decision based on the predictive analysis from this data. So I think that is very important. Coming back to a specific example from my organization, that is Kennametal. So we are one of the leaders in manufacturing cutting tools. Now these cutting tools are used for machining components across industries, like the engines in cars, buses, two-wheelers, tractors, the turbine blades in energy, or the off-highway equipment in road construction. So anywhere where there is metal and machining is required in the components, we manufacture a diverse portfolio of cutting tools and CNC machines. So when Kennametal started, it was into material science and it was into products, which is essentially cutting tools. But I think over a period of time, with customers moving to smart manufacturing, Industry 5.0, we have also evolved our solutions and we've gone into digital machining, digital twin. So here what you can do is, traditionally you take the cutting tool to the customer and you do trials and see whether it's giving the desired geometry accuracy, and then the customer decides to place an order. But here, with the digital technology, we are actually simulating the entire machining operation in a virtual environment. We are fixing the parameters, we are migrating the machine features into the system, the component features into the system, and we are simulating the entire machining process to predict the productivity and the accuracy. And based on that, then we go ahead and offer the right portfolio of tools. So this helps in two ways. One is it reduces a lot of wastage of material, which is tungsten carbide and other materials which are not renewable. And secondly, it also improves the customer's productivity and predictability from the machining operation. So this is how, in this specific case, we are moving towards the digital transformation. I think the second point is the leader needs to align the vision with the transformation, and at the same time, he needs to bring the entire organization together to align to this vision. So that can be done through a lot of communication, training programs, upskilling, creating the mindset that we need to do what is new and trending and not things which you've been doing historically. So here again, for one of the companies where I had worked, the company was essentially wanted to change the perception of being a brick and mortar company to a very progressive and future-ready organization. So there was a whole digital transformation exercise that was undertaken, and it was called like a company's name and 2.0. So every touch point of the company, be it internal, external, like right from the quotations that are being given to the project management to how employees are being communicated with, everything was mapped, and there were opportunities identified for digitization. So moving from 3D to 4D project management, or completely automating the quotation generation. So every touch point was automated, and the employees were taken together along this journey. So at every point there were extensive trainings, upskilling, so that these new systems should not threat the employees, but they should be able to use them seamlessly to improve their productivity and the organization's outcome. So that's about the second point. And lastly, I would like to say is one of the other, I think, responsibilities of large organizations is to also build the ecosystem to work towards this digital transformation. So, for example, we manufacture CNC machines, and a lot of these machines go into MSMEs and companies where people are just moving from manual machining to CNC machining. So we do work with them. We organize training programs to upskill the operators and help them operate these machines and bring more productivity to the organization. Then our CSR arm works closely with the community to distribute science kits and STEM kits to schools. I think in the last year alone, we had about 4 lakh plus students across schools who benefited from these science kits, and it inculcates science into young minds so that when they move into the corporate world, they already have some knowledge. And we also work a lot with industry bodies, and we enable industry academia tie-up. So the students from these industries, they come to our company, they have a look at our manufacturing processes, and there is an opportunity for them to interact with people across production and the different people in the supply chain of the organization. So these are some of the points that I'd like to share.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Satish, coming to you, how can organizations and academic institutions prepare talent pipelines, and what should education systems and training programs be doing differently today to prepare workers for our AI-driven roles?
Well, like I said, this is a country which is driven at scale in terms of 3 main components. You have corporates, you have academia, you have the government, right? All of 3 components have to work in tandem as part of this. In terms of industry and academic collaborations, we've got some beautiful examples shared as well. What is currently happening is in terms of an upgradation on the curriculum that's also being delivered. So right from the one who trains, which is the faculty, to the heads of the institutions, these have to be channelized, which is currently happening in place. Happy to share that that's in place right now. There are certain efforts being taken in that regard. In the same aspect, you also have curriculums being updated as part of the Board of Studies. So you have industry also intervening as part of the Board of Studies here, right? So there's an active engagement where corporates or in proper domain expert people are part of these Board of Studies who are trying to revamp the entire curriculum. In fact, as part of the new education policy 2.0, there's quite a lot of breakups in terms of where and how individual learners can have an exit and a re-entry back into the system while they're learning. It could be on different factors. People would have dropped out, they can always come back and continue, or they take it's like a sabbatical during work. I can go out, practice or enhance my knowledge further, have some hands-on, and then come back into the academic tenure. So these involvements, and also from the industry standpoint, there's a huge acceptance in terms of taking up people, not just in terms of full-time employment. Because one, there's always a challenge. I mean, we've been hearing this, at least I've been hearing this from 2009 very actively, saying there's an industry academic gap, right? But what is happening in terms of bridging that gap is very important. You can't sit and complain. You need to take steps to enhance that. So this initial example that I said is one such action. So people are not just hiring, they're also taking in people on terms of internships or apprentices and a few other aspects, on-job training and so on. So people are being embedded into the system of work much while they're learning itself. So that gives them an exposure in terms of why am I supposed to pick up this trade? Why am I supposed to specialize in a particular area, right? It not only in calls of for the engineers, but I'm saying even the non-STEM streams. Somebody wants to get into finance and so on, or somebody wants to get into ITIs for that matter. Why do I need to specialize? So these areas are relevant. This is the stake which is happening in terms of intervention where industry and academia are blending. On the other aspect of how academia is building the AI pipeline as such, today we're talking about T-shaped learning, right? So your technology doesn't stand alone, your domain expertise is also needed. So you have a domain expertise taught through the college curriculum, also topping up to it saying, how do certain AI tools enhance that? So that T-shaped learning where domain tech and another important aspect, which is the baseline, is your professional skills. All the three have to go in tandem. Professional skills is not just communication. It is also about design thinking, problem solving, negotiation skills, influencing skills, right? Program management, and so on. So all of these play a very critical role in terms of building that skill set for the country, as well as it is also building the skill for an individual throughout for his entire life. So I'm very sure colleges are doing certain efforts, which we are seeing very actively happening. In fact, I would say Karnataka was the first state to adopt the new education policy 2.0 and add in more credits, credit-based learning. Looking at it, you have other states as well, like the Nan Mudalvan program and few others. Across India, we have several initiatives which is parallelly happening. And happy to say that NASSCOM is also part of this, very actively engaged, very dedicated in terms of bringing this whole ecosystem awareness and building that pool for the country.
Thanks, Satish. Jolly, coming back to you. Now, capacity building is very important at this stage to take the current workforce to the level that they can actually use AI. So who should be responsible for ensuring AI benefits the workforce fairly? Is it the government, are the organizations, or the workers themselves?
Interesting. Of course, it is a shared responsibility. So the government can have the legal safeguards put in place, and the business and organizations can see that ethics is followed, and the workforce definitely has to shift from a one-time attending a training kind of mindset to a lifetime skilling mindset, continuous learning. So it has to be a shared responsibility, and that's when AI will take off. I would look at it as a social commitment. So everybody together putting in what is needed is what is going to help this to actually take some shape and form and be very inclusive. So there is this fear that some unintentional biases may creep in because of underrepresentation of the data that these AI systems are trained on. So the women especially, or the rural communities, or the informal sector can be underrepresented. So there the government can put in some legal safeguards, and business that are developing these systems can put in ethics so that it will not be harmful for a country as diverse as India, and everybody, there is equity and everybody feels included in this tech skilling. Thank you.
Thanks, Jolly. Coming to a very important question in terms of policy and ecosystem support. Costa, can you give us what are the current policies aligned with the pace of technological change that is happening, that are currently available?
Jayant, I don't think so. I'm being very honest about this. We are advising government. I was a part of the policy making system, and now I am advising people when the government's on that. See, government can only do so much, because they have to make policies which are, it's kind of a pan-state, pan-India basis, right? It cannot be geo-specific policies, right? So that's where we come in. I think both Jolly and Swastika made very good points. I was just listening to them. The problem with AI is presently, it is right now a very urban phenomena. It is not a rural phenomena yet. Some of the youngsters in rural India, I will say more South India than North India. I've been to more than close to 350 districts of India, and more so in South India, in the rural segment, people are aware. I don't say the same thing about North India yet. So awareness is something that has to be built. I don't think we have a policy for building awareness. Yes, we have policy for schemes. The second thing is we have something called a skill gap study. Okay, if people are following me on LinkedIn, they'll say, I wrote an article on this, I call it the elusive bridge. Very clearly, he's from NASSCOM, Satish knows me for some time, and what the Sector Skill Council or Government of India or state governments do, they wait for these skill gap studies to come, and then they will incorporate it in due course of time. But the point is, if Swastika, who's in the capital goods industry, needs a worker for a particular work, she can wait for 2 months, maximum 3 months. They can't wait for 4 years. The problem is from the gaps, the study to the implementation, it takes about 3 to 4 years. By that time, the entire technology has changed. We are not, I remember growing up in the 70s, and when computer came, we were like, wow, computer. And today, computer is like everybody's, a phone is a computer basically, right? So the technology in the last 50 years has crossed the jet age actually. I think Industry 5.0, good you picked up Industry 5.0. Nobody's talking about that yet, but we are still stuck to 4.0, which almost being obsolete. So I think the problem with policy making is we are not geospecific, that is number one. Number two, we are not yet there where we can take calls on the basis of industry telling us what to do, because that is the most important thing. Satish spoke about industry academia, and I feel very strongly that industry has to take over schools, education systems. Swastika spoke about exposure of students, very important, because a rural polytechnic college is not giving that exposure to the kid, how it is being done in the industry actually. They will, and also the very important thing, like she's talking about CNC machines, Siemens and Fanuc are two different systems. Now kid who's looking at particular training under some CNC machine in some polytechnic college in some rural India, he has no idea. He thinks that that is the only thing. The second very important point which Satish touched also is training of trainers. We have a dearth, real bad status of trainers in India. Except for the armed forces where our instructors keep training every day. None of the trainers get upgraded or thing, because in an institution it is taken as a liability. The trainer will run away. So this, I don't think yet we are there.
Thanks, Kaustav. Coming back to Swastika, what practical steps can organizations take to help employees transition into AI-augmented roles without fear, and how do you create a workplace culture that embraces AI rather than resist?
Thank you. So the first question on how does organization prepare the teams, I think it's more important for the leaders to give the comfort and confidence that we are taking you along in this AI journey and we're not trying to replace your job. So a lot of upskilling is required, a lot of trainings to make them understand that how this can ease your redundant work and how can you move yourself to the next level. So we had a massive modernization program 3 years back where across the globe the Kenna metal factories replaced the traditional machines with some intelligent AI-driven machines, and there was a training for almost 3 months to make sure that everybody knows how these machines work and what is my role in making sure that I get the best out of this machine. So the idea is not to replace, but to take the company to the next level. So instead of manufacturing 5,000 inserts, you make it 15,000 without decreasing the workforce and with the help of automation. So that was the whole objective so upskilling is definitely very important, and I think there's only so much that the organization can do, but it's the employee's prerogative on how do I embrace AI and how do I leverage it for my work rather than seeing it as threat. I think Dr. Goel spoke at length about it, so I think he's pretty much covered everything. The key points were look at AI as a friend and take the help to do your work, look at it as a partner rather than seeing it as a threat. So I'll just give one example of my recent experience with ChatGPT. So we were actually doing a strategy for a product. And traditionally what we do is we probably, talk to, say, a sample of customers. We analyze the data on Power BI, Excel, and then we generate the whole scenario out of it. So one of the things I tried is I put all the transcript into ChatGPT and I gave the prompt on, can you generate a customer persona out of these transcripts that I've put in, right? So it actually came up with some interesting insights that, okay, these are the demographics, so the customers are based in these regions, these are the psychographics